Hello, I'm Ilian Saint-Hilaire, and welcome to this demonstration of Intel AMT Agent Presence feature. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run Intel AMT Commander, and I'm going to connect using my router as a loopback. I'm going to connect to myself. So I'm just going to go and say connect, but now I'm using my router as a loopback and connecting back to myself here. So what I want to show is in networking, there's this feature called Watchdog. And in order to show this feature, what I've done is I've added a filter called drop ping, and I added a policy called drop ping. And this is a policy I'm going to be using that just drops ICMP ping packets. But I'm going to be using this for my demonstration later on. But I just want to focus here on Watchdog. Now, normally Commander would run on a different machine than the machine that I'm going to be running on right now. But for the sake of this demo, I'm running Commander through my router as a loopback. And I'm also going to use Intel AMT Outpost as my agent, running that this software would run normally on the machine that has AMT. So I'm going to go into Watchdog. I'm going to right click and say add a new Watchdog. I'm going to call it Notepad Watchdog. I'm going to put an identifier, let's put 8 here, so all zeros and an 8. The timeout is going to be, let's say, 5 seconds, and the start time is going to be 15 seconds. I'm going to say add, and then you go open up and you look at the Watchdog, and what you're going to see is that the state of the Watchdog is currently not started. Now that's because the first 15 seconds that a Watchdog is placed, or the first 15 seconds after a computer is turned on, the Watchdog is put on the non-started state. Now after 15 seconds you'll see that it switches over to expired because the Watchdog is not being heartbeat. There's no heartbeat to this Watchdog, and you'll notice the big X here. By the way, Commander polls this UI every 5 seconds, so there's a bit of a delay in this state showing up here. You can click on this button to refresh the state faster, but by default it's 5 seconds. So I'm going to go into Outpost, my agent. I'm going to click on Watchdog. I can say click on Add button. Type in the name Notepad. Now this name, by the way, is not really used for anything. I'm going to use the GUID, which is the important thing. This GUID needs to match this GUID, and I'm going to say OK. And then what you do is you check that checkbox, and it will start heartbeating that GUID on towards AMT. And as it heartbeats, you will see that the state has just changed to running. I can also remove the heartbeat right here, and now it's no longer heartbeating. After 5 seconds plus the poll time, you'll notice that it goes to expired. So I can go do this again, and you'll see it switch over to running automatically. By the way, if you have multiple agents that you're heartbeating, you can just remove this checkbox here, and it will stop heartbeating all of the agents at once. So that's kind of useful also. But I'm just going to leave this. Now, what is this useful for? Well, first of all, what I can do is I can add a state transition that says, for example, from all to all log. And now, every time this agent changes state from running to expired, you'll see the new event log being posted. So if I go into the event log, I've already done this a lot of times, so you can see it here a lot. But right here, if I say refresh, there you go, you'll see January 1st. This is the event, the change to expired event that was created. If I check this and start heartbeating again, I refresh the log, and you'll see change to running on this agent. Now I'm going to go back to the Watchdog, and you'll see that it's back to running here. Now another thing I can do is remove this state transition, and I'll add a different state transition that says if you go from running to expired, activate a policy and log, and if you go from expired back to running, disable the policy and log. Also, you go into Watchdog here, just the level above the list of watchdogs, and you can select what the the policy for the watchdog engine is. In this case, I'm going to select the drop ping policy. And basically what I've just did here is I said, if it goes from running to expired, enable the ping policy, and if it goes from expired to running, disable this drop policy. And so what I'm going to do is I have this little application called net status. I'm going to start it up. So now I'm pinging my router, and it's currently running. I'm going to disable the heartbeat, and after 5 seconds plus the pull time, you'll see that now I can't heartbeat anymore because Intel AMT automatically enabled that system defense policy to drop the pings. If I start heartbeating again, you can see that I can ping again because it disabled that policy. I want to also note that AMT is doing that on its own, that there's no console or there's no software basically grabbing the state here and changing the policy. The AMT system defense and agent presence are kind of switching the policies on their own. So I can do that again, just disable it, and you'll see, oh, there you go, ping stopped. And of course Commander pulls and gets that response. Because I've logged all these events, if you go in the event log, say refresh, you'll see that there's more expired and running going on right here. Now, another thing I want to do, I'm just going to re-enable Notepad here. I'm going to go ahead and run the Notepad application for real. And I'm going to go into Outpost, edit this watchdog, and I'm going to say heartbeat conditional on Notepad running. So I'm just going to select Notepad. And basically what's going on here is that Outpost is now going to only heartbeat if Notepad is running. And so if I stop Notepad, you're going to see no process code. And after a while, there you go, it's all went expired and the ping just stopped. And if I go ahead and run Notepad again, you'll see that the ping is started again, and it all changed. So what I've done here is I've basically told Outpost to only ping conditional on this application running, and so it kind of gives me a more real-life example of what's going on. If you were to do a demonstration in front of customers or so on about AMT, what you do is you basically would just run this system tool, status tool, just show that ping is working, and that now if I just remove Notepad, ping stops after 5 seconds, of course. There you go, ping has stopped. And if I run Notepad again, ping starts up again. If you have two computers, it's a little easier to demonstrate all this because you would run Commander on a different computer and show this changing as this changes. Of course, I can also remove the entire watchdog now, and I can go back and make sure that the policy is disabled. I can activate it manually, of course. In that case, the pings will stop, and I can disable it manually to remove the ping, to resume the pings. Anyway, this is my small demonstration of how Intel Agent Presence and System Defense work together. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you and have a great day.